printing.
Oh, speaking of Black Dog Printing, I need to go pick up my shirt. I just heard feedback.
No.
Because it's on my computer.
Oh, okay.
Smashed.
Eyes are
We're gonna have fun tonight. I think so. All right, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right.
Are we ready? Are we alive or what?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Okay.
Oh, we're the train has left the station.
That means a whole different thing when you're talking about Yellowstone, because you don't want to be at the station.
Oh no,
No.
the beer truck has pulled out of the distribution.
It might have got
Warehouse.
hijacked by us.
Oh yeah, it's bad. All right. Thank you if you're watching us live. Obviously, none of this will make it on the audio version of the podcast, which is a benefit for anyone that listens to us via the audio style. You can still listen to those. Actually, our numbers on those are growing again. We do like 1,000 listens about every 90 days, but now we're getting over 1,000 views in a month.
Nice.
So like it's going. It's kind of exciting, and it's typically the summer slows down, so we'll have to wait and see if we can maintain the momentum. Otherwise, we may take a few months off, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, maybe even just reduce how many times we do.
Yeah.
Maybe every other week or
But
something.
if people
We'll figure it out.
If people keep watching, we'll keep doing them. That's my motto with it.
Everybody, let us know what you think.
Yeah, there you go. All right, are you about ready?
I'm ready.
All right, Mr. Shook, you're ready to go.
We're good.
AJ, you're golden.
Yes.
Perfect. The microphone's working and great. All right. Here we go. Ready? 3, 2. Welcome to the After Two Beers podcast. I'm Dutch Dalton, joined as always by Kimmy Gibbler.
That's me.
Make sure you grab a drink. This is the After Two Beers podcast. Basically, what we do, Gibbler and I have a couple drinks, and then we like to discuss topics that may be a little outside the comfort zone for some people.
Yeah, we want to make you think, and we want to make you be able to answer without the filter.
Exactly, and that's the whole point of the After Two Beers. Typically, and people ask, it's only 2 beers, and no, it's after 2 beers. We
Minimum.
can't start. That's the minimum. So Gibbler and I have been hanging out for the last 2.5 hours, and in that time, I think I've consumed 2 shots and 4 Bud Lights.
4. I did not consume as much, however.
Yeah, well, I'm a little heavier. I think we'll be okay. But the whole point of After Two Beers is we're your buddies. Grab a drink, hang out with us. Maybe you can hang out with us tonight as we record this live. If not, maybe you're listening to the recorded podcast. Maybe you're sitting at your kid's ball game and you've got a little something in the old Yeti.
Oh, yeah.
That, all your
and
buddies
if you
know
don't,
about.
you're doing it wrong.
Right? And you can throw in the earbud and listen to us and have a good time. So that's what After Two Beers is.
Yeah, and whether you're doing it live or actually listening to us
Yeah.
recorded, make sure you give us your input and tell us what we're doing right, tell us what we're doing wrong.
Yes, feedback is great. Make
Yes.
sure you share the podcast. It's really about the easiest way for us to continue to grow is word of mouth. So anything that you can do to help us grow would be greatly appreciated. Coming up on this week's show, I've got a study from Indiana University that said one joint couple task reported significantly higher relationship quality. But I think it's something that most relationships are going to really... This is why I like to throw a pipe bomb out. This is a pipe bomb in podcasting. I'm going to throw out, like, if you have a couple, if you're in part of a relationship now, this is one thing that you can look over to your mate. And this is an interesting discussion point, I think.
This may or break some people, right?
Right. Yeah, that's what we do. We throw out truth serum. In the second segment, we have Am I the Asshole? This is an interesting one and involves taking your dogs to other people's houses and then expecting people to treat your dogs like they're their dogs. You follow what
I've
I'm
got
saying?
lots of questions.
Oh, it's going to
I've
be a
got
good
questions.
one. We have Gibbler's Giblets coming up in A to B News. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, and that includes car thieves. You got to hear how many people from one family. I mean, it's double digits.
Do as I do, not like I say. Oh, wait, what?
Another interesting question. I'm going to ask AJ the same thing. How often do you replace your panties?
Oh, often.
How often is often? Think
At
about
least
it.
twice a year.
Twice a year? Okay. Every pair?
All of them.
You don't have like a
I don't have any. Nope. They all go replenished with new.
We're going to talk about that. Apparently, that's some big deal on TikTok now, going around about how often you should replace your underwear because of germs and
Like, it doesn't matter how good you can put vinegar and you can put antibacterial soap in it and everything else.
Are you?
I
What
think
do
that
you
it was-
put it in what?
like in the washer.
Oh, I thought you meant in.
Oh no, but no, like
Just
it doesn't matter how good you wash some of your clothes. Sometimes some things just, it's just best to replace them at least
Yeah.
twice a year.
All right, we're going to tell you from a doctor's perspective how often you're supposed to replace your undergarments. And then lastly, we're going to tell you about a lady in Canada that apparently hates new cars, as she is a
What?
she goes from car lot to car lot keying cars, and so far she's keyed hundreds of cars. Keying them.
What
For
pissed her
multiple,
Wheaties?
well, I don't know. We're gonna have to find out, though. I'm gonna give you the
Okay.
details. We want to make sure first we do our thank yous. Thank you so much to our Patreon supporters and sponsors. Basically, what Patreon is it allows you as the viewer or the listener to throw a little couple dollars in the tip jar for us.
Get the greens out of them jeans.
That's right. If you think we're doing a good job, it allows you to basically give us a financial high five. And it's as cheap as $1 a month. All you've got to do is go to patreon.com/after2beers. That's the number 2. Or you can go to after2beers.com and find a link there as well. And you can follow links to some of our past episodes.
Just think of it as buying us a beer at the bar
Yeah, there you go.
once a month.
We greatly appreciate it. And if you ever want to advertise on the show, we'd be more than happy to sell whatever you have to offer, unless it's horrible. But no, probably it'd sell out for
We
that
could
too.
probably even bring back the pause for the cause. For the cause. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Like, if it's back to the 80s, am I supposed to... What I'm supposed to do? Like, if it's back to the 80s, am I supposed to... Oh, do I get to have
costume.
big hair?
Costume, big hair,
Leather pants?
80s.
Oh.
I'm just gonna be a sperm because I was born in '85. So
Oh, bless your little heart.
Well, if you were born in '85, you could be a child.
right. Well, I am though.
Oh, we're going to put a
that
diaper
doesn't change
on you.
anything. Right there we go. Yeah. Okay.
So what is the back to the 80s? Are they going to play music from the 80s? Or are they going to create a video? Or
Well, so the backstory to them is their TikToks when they started them, they do 80s music lip syncing. So they want to keep it 80s themed, 80s music themed.
So are they going to do a live recording, or are they just do they do answering questions, or
I'm sure they'll do TikTok live and whatnot. Now, what we'll be doing is we'll be recording. We just won't be streaming live.
yeah?
Okay.
I'd appreciate that. I'm
Right.
not sure where this is going to go.
I don't want the social media shut down.
I don't want
Yeah.
people to, really not want to listen or watch our show because I'm in
Yeah.
leather pants.
Or we're bombarded by 300 people because you're in
Well-
leather pants.
Well, and the wild part, this is our second Facebook page. We had a really good one,
Oh, we had a fantastic
and
one.
it was so we got
Zuckerberg.
Oh, wow.
We did. Oh, don't even get me started. All right,
Yeah.
are you ready to jump into the show?
I'm ready.
All right. It was funny when I threw this topic out there. I could watch through the studio glass how much AJ perked up about this one, and it's an interesting one. I think it's very interesting, and I'm gonna love to get Kimberly's opinion about this one. I gotta find it here. These things they're basically little computers but then it's just like a regular computer.
I was gonna
can't
say,
find
if it's
anything.
anything like a '97 Packard, that's how my brain works.
Okay, here we go. According to a new study out of Indiana University, one secret to a longer, happier relationship may be having a joint bank account.
Can they still have their separate ones though too?
Let's let me read it and then we'll go from there. Okay.
Okay.
According to a new study out of Indiana University, one secret to a longer, happier relationship may be consolidating your finances. So I think it means all of your finances.
All of your finances.
Yes. The study followed 230 engaged or newly married couples across 2 years. Some couples were asked to keep separate bank accounts. Others were told to open a joint bank account. And a third group could choose for themselves. In the end, the couples who opened a joint bank account reported significantly higher relationship quality than those who kept separate accounts. The researchers believe this shows that merging finances leads to aligned financial goals,
Okay.
increased transparency, which of course that one's true, and a shared understanding of marital responsibilities. And you're giggling. I love it. Okay. So it's an interesting question, especially for people that have been married and that are divorced. And then maybe it's people that are new into a relationship. Lots of different ways we can go on this one, Gibbler. You're in a relationship. You guys live together.
Right.
Which basically means you're together.
Yes.
Do you have a joint banking account?
We do not.
Do you have, so you have separate?
We have separate.
Was that a mutual agreement between the two of you?
We just have never discussed it, honestly, because I still have my own home separately. He still has his own home separately. I just happen to live there.
But
But I rent mine out, and
regardless,
honestly, it's just never been something that's been brought up.
assets and life. Okay, let me ask, would you prefer that you guys had one account that even your money went into, whether it was your house or whatever, and all of his money went in, and then you had transparency 100% both ways of what money was being spent?
I think
This is,
right now we're not married. I don't have I don't know. I don't know that there's that many bills that we pay together to where it's that much of a big deal.
I don't think it's so much about just the bills you pay together.
I think it is.
No, I think it's not. I think what it is what it comes down to. This is just my opinion. Okay. I'm not trying to disagree with you, but I'm disagreeing with you.
Okay.
Basically, what it comes down to is if you put all of your money into a bucket and he puts all of his money into a bucket,
Okay.
and then you both have 100% transparency of what flows out of that bucket, you can both see if one of you are spending dollars in an area maybe you shouldn't be spending the dollars in. And
Well, I'm going to be completely honest here. At some point, some people make more money than other people make, and it does not necessarily mean it's guys versus women or women versus men. But, like, I know that there's a lot of relationships where the man makes more money.
right.
But, like, honestly, for us, with him having his own house, me having my own house, that's the main reason we don't. Like, I don't think it's a whole trust thing to where I'm, like, hiding spending any money or anything like that, because it's not.
Well, but see, I think that's what they're trying to say. First of all, is the first element, and I love this part of the show because this is where we get a little bit more philosophical about things.
Right.
And even after alcohol, because I guarantee you there are people at home that are listening to this right now that are in a relationship where they do not have a joint savings or checking account where everything flows in, and they're listening to this because the study says you have a significantly better relationship by doing this. And I think the reasoning B is that if you put everything into a bucket and he puts everything into a bucket, you have to have some sort of mutual agreement about how it's going to be spent because you're a unit. Now, if it's significant enough where somebody makes more than the other, then you can discuss it. And full transparency, AJ and I have been in a relationship together now for over 5 years, and we don't have a joint account.
No.
So I'm not arguing it from the place of having one and why you should have one.
And sometimes it also it depends on if you've been scorned in the past. But no, like honestly, so I myself, I don't trust myself sometimes. So what I actually have is I have 2 accounts, and that's just for me.
Yeah, but what
So
if
I have a bill account and I have a spending account.
But what if you had a single account and he could help keep you up to date?
Okay.
So you wouldn't have to worry about not worrying about yourself.
Okay.
So ultimately you'd be okay with doing
Yeah, I mean, it's not that big of a deal as far as
100%.
that goes. I just want to make sure that, he still has his bills that he has to pay as far as his place that I am not on.
Well,
I own my own place that he's not on. So
Right.
we've got to still have
and I think
separation.
but I think that's ultimately what they're trying to say though, is if you're at a next step
yeah.
in a relationship.
Yeah, I mean if we were at that next step, if I didn't have my own house and that was our house or something, then
Why
like
can't
we
it
would
be your
always
house?
figure it out. We
Why
would
can't
always
it-
like, and I know that what a lot of people do is it's like somebody does these bills and somebody does these bills, and then you're in charge of groceries and you're in charge of this.
Right. What happens though? Let me throw out a hypothetical.
Okay.
Okay, you're in a relationship. The guy makes it just because it's the opposite of you. He makes $250,000 a year. Okay, you make $50,000 a year. You both go out and you work. You both come home. You both add equally to the home's responsibilities. Just because he makes $250 doesn't mean he doesn't come home and do dishes. Or
No, it just
laundry.
means he
No.
pays for dinner more times than I pay for
Well,
dinner.
no, what I'm trying to so all that money comes together into that, okay? But what if he decides that he wants to go out and buy a new motorcycle, but you don't have enough money to get your hair done because you only make $50,000 a year? Just because you're paying your bills, is it okay for him in that same relationship to go out and do those things and for you to struggle to make ends meet?
If that's the agreement.
Ah, see, I love this show.
No,
This
if
is
that's
why-
the agreement,
It is.
honestly.
And ultimately, I think that's what they were trying to say with the very first point, which was, if you have a joint account, basically you have to have a conversation
Yeah.
where you say, "This is what we're going to do," and I can see.
And honestly, if I felt like I was the one that made more money, I would feel like I wanted to contribute more. Like
Well,
to
but-
things that we wanted to do.
I
Whether we
think-
wanted to buy a new car, whether we wanted to buy a motorcycle, whether we wanted to go and do this. It's all a conversation.
I think, and AJ, I'll come to you right now. I've got you. I think it creates animosity sometimes in a relationship where if you go that way, and then the person that's making $250 is coming home with nice new clothes, and they're getting their hair done, and if it's a dude, they still got to get their hair done. I don't. But you see what I'm saying? Like, they're still going out and doing for themselves. Now, when they go out, he'll buy dinner, but she's sitting at home like, I can't even get a new outfit, and old dude's rolling in with a new $1,000 suit.
I think that if you make that much significantly amount more than your spouse, then you figure out the necessity bills based on that percentage. Like if you make $250, she makes $50, she is paying that smaller portion of the bills.
But-
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but
Of the necessity
I'm-
bills. I'm
I'm-
not talking about the fancy sports car or the Prada purse or
Yes.
I don't even know if that's really a thing. But
you know what's funny? We've been talking
That's
about
what
this
I'm
for
saying.
20 minutes, and I feel like we could do a whole show.
it could be a whole segment.
And we could skip like everything else and just talk about that. AJ, you
I
go
feel like
ahead.
this would be a good live one.
Oh my God, right? We should do this on
Like
June 3rd.
we would go into a place and people show up
Oh,
and
we would have
Oh,
relationships
man.
end. We would break up. We're going to break up relationships. I'm going to tell you right now. AJ, you've got something to
just
add.
from the other side, you guys know I'm always going to be real. So Dutch makes almost 3 times what I make. And I recently left one employer and started with a new employer, and I make $16,000 less a year. And anyone that says that their partner, that they're not jealous if they make more than them and they're able to do more, they're full of shit. There are times that, you know, that you come
Get in
home
the jig.
and I'm jealous as fuck. So anybody that says otherwise, they're full of shit.
Yeah, this is definitely after 2 beers. See
Yeah.
this? No, AJ, and that's it's an interesting point, right? Because again, I want to look at this as segments. That is definitely got to be one
Yes.
thing, right? Where you're creating animosity, indirectly, not intentionally, with the relationship,
Right.
because you're coming home with nice shit all the time.
Well, and honestly, I've heard of people that, you know, the husband makes significantly more than the spouse, or if it's a stay-at-home wife or whatever, where they budget in some type of I hate to say the word, but it's kind of like
An allowance.
an allowance.
They get an allowance.
They get an allowance for all of like the extras, the getting your hair and nails done, getting your this, that, and that done, and just, you know.
It's an interesting conversation. Okay, the second point they brought up about it, and I feel like this could be an entire other segment.
Oh no.
No. It's transparency. So the idea being, and you and I talked about this beforehand, before we got here. You were like, well, people could still hide. You could in theory, right? But it should be very easy today because of like creditkarma.com and all these.
ATM.
No. What I'm saying is, well, but you can see the ATM charges. If you take
Yeah, I took $50 out. You don't know what I spent that $50 on. It could have been a new pair of shoes or a new pair of pants.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about $50, right?
Yeah.
I think this is a situation where maybe someone becomes there's lack of commitment to the relationship sexually, where maybe all of a sudden, why do you have hotel room charges?
Oh.
What is this charge.com? Leather.com. I don't remember getting new panties.
Hub. What?
Right, exactly.
Corn? Why do you like popcorn so much? Popcorn Hub?
Why are you dropping $1,000 into DraftKings this month?
Oh.
I'll do a personal one. Why? $500 on baseball cards this month.
eBay baseball cards.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's another element to this is that it takes that secrecy out of a relationship by.
Well, and also like with joint checking accounts or joint accounts, there is no secrecy. There's no surprise. So like if you wanted to treat her to a surprise vacation or a surprise weekend, it's no longer a surprise.
Well,
unless like I say, ATM.
you can get around that.
ATM, put it in, and yeah.
But you know what? I'm sorry. I think it might have been Kevin that said it about people in previous relationships that get burned.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of this is stemmed from, right? The moment you go into a relationship, and I can't speak from this, my ex-wife and I, from that perspective, we were fine. But I've heard horror stories of when someone's going to leave a relationship and they basically just go clean out all the accounts. And that would be a reason where somebody be like, I'm not doing a joint account. It's nothing against you. I've been burned by it.
I've also heard of marriages where the spouse did not know that there was a credit card that was maxed.
Well, and see,
That's part of the divorce.
And that's that whole transparency aspect.
It's all
of
the
it.
transparency.
Right,
And
because they've eventually got to start making payments on it. And if they've got to get money to make the payments.
so what do? Once a year, like, have your credit check done on the two of you?
I think the whole point of this is you're supposed
It's
to
all
have a relationship.
that's what I'm saying.
you're not-
It's all supposed to be about trust and
That's,
building on all of those things, all of those aspects that a relationship should be.
The credit check should be before you write the vows.
Hey, well, but in fairness, there's a lot of people that get into a relationship and then one of them becomes a shopping fiend.
Yep.
That maybe they're bipolar and maybe they're manic at that time, or maybe they've got their own insecurities. Gibbler and I were talking about this earlier. Maybe it's one of our fun facts about how people from 40 to 50 really struggle with depression. And maybe that's a way that they're trying to fill some sort of gap
Yeah.
in their life. And you might be phenomenal in your early 20s, but you may become an asshole financially in your 40s. You just don't know. And then
You don't know.
and then the other thing that would be interesting is there's a lot of people that I mean, I've heard of people close to me that have shared stories about even close loved ones that got hooked up into drugs and they had no idea.
Yeah.
But it was until all the money was gone that was in their account and they weren't paying house payments because they were spending their money to buy pain pills.
Yeah.
And that would be another instance where maybe if you identified it sooner, you could save the relationship. This is a really interesting one. And it's funny to me because there's no right or wrong answer, I think, for any couple. But I think it's some great things to bring up, just not at a bar. This is
Definitely not at a bar. You don't want to talk about these things because
after two
it's
beers.
every side.
Yeah. And the other thing I'd be interested is when you talk about full transparency, I think another thing, if you're really going to commit to it, is I feel like you have to have your cell phone code of your partner at all times.
Okay.
Like, I'm not saying you specific, like you would be troubled by it, but I'm saying I think for you to be able just to walk in and pick up the phone and them to be like, hey, what are you needing? And you're like, I just want to check your score on something. Or I'm just checking my phone's upstairs. Oh, that's cool. But there are people that would shit their fucking pants if their partner had access to their
And
cell
you know what?
phones.
I think that I always just put it down, and I think it's just like a normal reaction, but like I would not give to nothing.
Oh, well, I turn mine
Here.
over too, but that's mostly because of work, and it's just become a habit now.
Right.
Where I don't want it to distract me. But no,
Yeah.
I'm talking about like you leave your phone on your dining room table, you go to bed, you wake up in the morning and you find it by your couch.
Yeah.
And old dude was like, I didn't look through your personal shit. It wasn't that. I literally just wanted to see what the score was of the Louisville Bats.
Yeah.
And the hope would be is that's the truth, right?
Right.
But I don't know, man. That's why it's so easy for people to cheat nowadays. And I think that's why divorces are so high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Between that and honestly, financial reasons is one of the highest divorce rate reasons.
Well, absolutely. I'm convinced, and hear me out on this. I'm not saying it's 100%. There are people that if you cheated on them, you have a better chance of getting back into a relationship with said person than if you took all their fucking money and spent it. Tell me.
That's a possibility.
And you're like, oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted, it was a great price on a 1955 Koufax. And you're like, no, I'm out, bro. I am out. Or if I got hooked into gambling and all the money's gone, you're like, oh, I'm sorry. I got liquored one night and I got crossfaded and I didn't even know who she was.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you, people hate, money is the big one.
It is a big one.
I'm telling you, money destroys a lot
But
of
it's also
relationships.
necessity to be able to pay bills.
Well, minimally. I mean, it's all about a custom.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like if your spending is overdoing what you actually regularly owe in bills, then that's a problem too. So
All right. I'll tell you what, Gibbler's been drinking a lot. We're going to take a very, very early pause for the cause. We may take multiple tonight based upon her bladder size. You
oh
guys
my
have
God,
no
it's all
idea.
on me. It is.
And I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to take 5 minutes. We'll put the 5-minute countdown thing coming up.
But we will be back. Stay tuned.
Yes, we're going to
Please.
come back with Am I the Asshole plus the Giblets and
Yeah,
the
you don't
news.
want to miss these parts.
All right. Thank you.
The
Oh,
baby
man, I
maker
got-
or the dick? Are they both the same?
Depends on whether it's the male or the female.
Right? Would you rather? Would you rather?
Would
be
you
hit
rather?
in the dick or the baby maker? I
It
think I'd
depends
rather
on
be-
what we're hitting with.
What are
My
you talking
gosh.
about?
Nothing.
For a dude?
No, for a
all the
female or a
above.
dude.
I can tell you right now, it's not the dick that hurts, it's the nuts. I'm dead serious. Like, it's the balls.
Gibbler, have you ever hit a guy in the balls?
Not on purpose.
Oh, you haven't? I have.
It was
Over
just
there
on
and give him a
accident.
tag.
It's a
Yeah, it was on accident.
All right. Are we ready?
We are. I'm just trying to look at all of my fun facts. I don't know. I've got some good ones. I don't
All
know
right.
how to choose.
Here we go. Ready?
I'm ready.
3, 2. Welcome back to the After Two Beers podcast. Dutch Dalton, Kimmy Gibbler hanging out with you. Thanks for enjoying the evening with us. It's I love doing this thing. And if you guys keep listening, we'll keep doing it.
I like it.
There we go. All right.
I love it.
Are you ready for Am I the Asshole? It's quickly becoming one of my absolute favorite segments.
I'm ready.
Yeah. This one involves two very directional, fired up kind of situations, right?
Okay.
In-laws and pets. And the
Man, I feel
mergence.
like this is like the biggest topics
Well,
of the assholes.
right.
Seriously, it's always in-laws or pets.
All right, this is this is from a lady, and I'm going to read it, and then we will discuss. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. My husband and I threw a barbecue on Saturday for the whole family. The mother-in-law, the father-in-law, 2 sister-in-laws, and 4 brother-in-laws. All their kids, my parents, and a few cousins. This is a big gathering.
That's a big gathering.
It is a big gathering. Both of the son-in-laws and brother-in-laws brought their dogs. There was 3 of them. I didn't really want the dogs here, but at the same time, I was just kind of sucked it up because we were going to be outdoors anyway.
So they didn't pre-approve it before they brought their animal?
No, they just showed up with their dogs. Or maybe she kind of silently told her husband, I don't want the dogs there. And then the husband's like, yeah, but it's my brother and my sisters, and they take their dogs everywhere. I don't know how that situation went
Okay,
down.
yeah.
But you understand that she compromised. I'll give her credit. She compromised. The dogs are there.
Okay.
All right. Anyway, she says, sister, this is when I love this is like people, they give their opinion and they don't think they are, but they're clearly slanted. All right, here we go.
Yeah.
Anyway, sister-in-law's dogs are extremely high energy and food driven. One's a giant Rottie, and the other is some sort of Russian Chihuahua. I think that's what she said. So
Russian Chihuahua?
yeah, I don't know what that means.
What in the hell?
It's like a
Does it have a mustache?
oh my god, it hates Ukraine.
Go ahead.
Anyway, she says it's a small lap dog. The brother-in-law dogs are fine, so clearly she doesn't like her sister-in-laws. She said the brother-in-law's dog is is old and just kind of lays around for petting. He's a black lab. Black labs are amazing. Anyway.
Go ahead.
So we start dishing out plates or whatever, and my sister-in-law is just waiting and staring at us, but not saying anything. When we get everyone's food, she goes, where's their food? And points down at her dogs who are standing by the grill begging.
I'm guessing at home where they should be.
Oh, she says, I told her that I'm not feeding her dogs food that cost me over $300. I purchased this food on my dime, and I'm not going to see it go to a dog when other people could want more food. She said something to the effect of, well, what the hell are they supposed to eat then? She said they eat with us for every meal, and now they're just going to be sitting here thinking they did something wrong because you won't feed them.
Give them half of your food then, Heffa.
So I responded with all due respect, that's not my problem. You should have figured out something instead of expecting us to feed your dogs steaks and hamburgers. She continues. Anyway, she ended up putting her food on the ground for her dogs and sat with her arms crossed the whole time, glaring at everyone around her while they were eating, saying, that sure looks yummy. Good thing the rest of the family gets to eat. my husband kept coming up and saying, just give her a plate, hon. She's causing drama. And I refused. She gave her plate of food to the dogs who shouldn't have been fed the food I purchased anyhow, because I clearly said no already. And I'm not going to give in to the entitlement when she didn't do anything to contribute. If I allowed her to walk all over us this time, then it would happen over and over again in the future. My mother-in-law and father-in-law were on my side, as apparently she pulls the same shit at their house. I love it when they drop the same shit.
at her house.
But everyone else thinks I'm an asshole for not feeding her after she gave her plate to her dog. So she...
So is there no excess, obviously? But also,
No,
why
I
in the
think
hell
that-
are you giving your dogs a steak?
I think there was excess. I think what she's saying is, I handed you a plate of food, and you, in spite of me, put said plate on the ground so your dogs would eat it.
And then wanted to be a little spoiled
I expected
biatch.
you to go ahead and give me another one. And this girl's like, fuck you, I ain't giving you any more food. I gave you a great plate of food. And if you consumed said plate of food, I would have given you more food. But the moment you expected me to treat your dogs like the way you treat your dogs at my house,
When they weren't
Nah.
even invited.
no, and so that's the whole thing, right? So
The dogs weren't invited.
what this comes down to is this, in my opinion, is regardless of what you and how you treat your dog, you have 3 dogs at your house,
I do.
and you don't feed them on the human food, and or you
Never.
try not to. You try not to, and then you because of bathroom situations, you control when their food is available, when their water is available, that sort of
Yes,
thing.
absolutely.
And it's a very fair ownership of
Yeah.
how. I mean, your dogs are not mistreated by any stretch.
Never.
I mean, I've seen them. They're very healthy and loving dogs. Our house is completely different. Not that mine is right or yours is right. It's that I keep water down all the time
Yep.
because but we do have a pisshead dog that pisses all the time. But,
I was getting ready to say, you guys have a doggy door, which makes a difference on whether you just leave stuff out.
Also true. Also
Now,
true.
also, I have one dog that if there's a whole bag of food out, he's going to eat the whole bag of food.
Yeah.
He won't just ration his portions.
Well, maybe, potentially. Like if he got used to it, accustomed to it, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe not. We don't know. It doesn't matter.
Anywho's.
The whole point of this is this. It's kind of like, do you ever have anyone in your life that takes their dog and really puts it on a pedestal? You know what I mean? Like their dog can do no wrong.
Yes.
They buy fancy clothes for it.
Well, it never poops on the floor
it
at our
gets
house. I don't know why
groomed all
it would
the
poop on the
time.
floor at yours.
So then they feel like that dog is an extension of them. So they take it with them wherever they go.
Okay.
In this instance, so these people brought their dogs over to this lady's house. But here's the part that's interesting to me. They expect you then to treat their pet in the same way that they would treat that pet.
And if it was me as a pet owner, if I got my dogs accustomed to eating a piece of chicken breast every night and I was taking them to someplace else because I can't go without my dog, I would take their chicken breast with me to feed them.
Well, and
I'm not expecting somebody else to feed my dog the way that I would do it.
Well, and I was going to bring that up with AJ. AJ takes care of, lining up dog sitters for us when we go on vacations and whatnot. And there's lots of times where we'll take Banks, the smaller dog, the Yorkie, to her mother's, and we provide all the food. We take all the food over, we take the treats over, we take the bed. And to me, I wouldn't take a child to someone's barbecue and then expect them to have diapers.
Or expect them to have chicken fingers when that's all the kid will eat, even though you're making steak.
There you go. That's a great point. I like it.
I'm just saying.
AJ, you got anything on this one? No.
I think we're all in agreement.
Yeah.
Right.
So
The people that showed up at the barbecue with their dogs expecting special treatment were assholes.
yeah,
Not the
clearly.
person that was having the barbecue.
Yeah, I'm just shocked by the the fact that they get fresh food off the grill. Right off the grill.
Man,
Lucky fucking dogs.
no shit. Sometimes I eat ramen
Right.
because
All
there's
right.
not enough.
We're going to keep the show moving along here. Gibbler, are you ready for the giblets?
I am. Do you know that I have so many of these? It was really hard to choose, and we may have to kind of pick and choose.
All
Are
right.
you good with that?
Let's do it.
So, because you actually brought up the one, we'll go ahead and start with that one.
Which is?
That is the, so some people tend to feel a sense of existential dread, sadness, or disappointment in their life in their 40s or 50s. So, but this midlife slump is perfectly normal. Just don't confuse it with the caricature of the midlife crisis where everybody goes out and gets a sports car, right? So, studying the midlife slump, according to research, people in middle age often experience a dip in happiness and life satisfaction between the ages of 40 and 50. One study even pinpointed the most miserable age is 47.2. I'm like, the 0.2, really? We're like going by like
Yeah.
how many weeks into the year, right? But of course, that's an average, so don't plan for it. But the actual midlife dip in happiness is caused by a combination of factors. It is the reality of an aging body, financial pressure, like we were talking earlier, having to take care of both your children and your elders, and the plain old realization that your life is half over.
So, you hope it's half over.
I was trying to be excited about saying
You
it, and it's half over.
And in all honesty, this is probably the only one that we need to do tonight because I want to spend some time on this one.
Okay.
I'm a Gen Xer. I was born in 1978. I'm 45 years old. And I'm surrounded by people of my age and plus or minus a year or two, for the most part. But then I've also got lots of friends that I would consider or people that I would consider my friends that are in their 50s and 60s, and vice versa in the 20s and 30s. So
Right.
I kind of cross all spectrums when it comes to age-wise, but I'm clearly at the tail end of Gen X, and I'm in my mid-40s, and I think about this stuff all the time. And I tell no one. This is my opportunity to tell you. And
This is our
AJ,
therapy.
It
I
is.
tell you.
That's why I love this show.
Oh.
It's I'm 45, and I swear to God, I think all the time. I'm like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be here. Like, I hope it's 30 years.
Right.
Am I good at 75? You know, would I be good at 70 if I knew it was all going to be solid? What if I only had another 10? What if I only had another
Well, that's
5?
what I was getting ready to say. Like, my dad passed at 55. My mom passed at 60. So I've got a good 10, 15 years.
Yeah. So I'm flipping out about that.
Right.
The second part you brought up was the finances, and this is a great one. I feel like at this part of our age life, this is when you're supposed to be making the most money of your life.
But you're also paying out to colleges and then also trying to save back for your own
Well, that's
retirement and
the
all of those stresses pouncing against each other.
Oh, still fighting the stressors of I was paying, my son was going to college, and I'm sure this is significantly less for other people. So, you know, if you pay more, I apologize. I was paying $700 a month for him to go to college this year. And then his mom was paying some, and then he took out some loans, but it's a lot of freaking money.
It is, and
But
you're helping him out so that he
Yeah.
doesn't have that huge lump at the end.
But at the same time, it's what you're talking about is I've got to prepare for retirement. But here's the whole weird part about retirement. I don't know how long I'm going to be alive. So how much money do I really need to retire? And am I even going to get to
Am I
retire?
gonna screw myself over by like thinking I'm gonna like live longer and spend it all too soon, or am I gonna like, you know what I mean?
Well-
Do you save too much and then it goes to the wind, or do you?
It doesn't go to. Well, I mean, the idea is it should go
Yes.
down to your family,
Yeah.
right? But the other thing I think too is like I'm like, fuck me, man, I'm fat. I need to drop some weight because I'm killing myself.
And also, once I get to the point where I don't have to work anymore, I want to fucking enjoy life.
But what would you do?
I want to travel a lot.
People
but I
always
don't
say
wanna,
that.
But that's the thing, is that I don't necessarily want to wait until then. Just because of, you know, I've got, my dad passed early, my mom passed early, but now like I have grandparents that passed way late. But I don't want to wait until it's too late.
Yeah. No, I mean, well, welcome to being 40s.
Right. This
And
is
like
where your
you
slump
said,
is.
I feel for like AJ's a perfect example of what you were talking about the last part to bring it kind of full circle, which is she's got a mother who's older. AJ was a very late child for her family. I hope I'm not speaking out of turn. Her mother's right close to being 80, 82, 81. So she's already 81. But she's also got a son that just turned, he's in his early 20s, and he's going through that part of life where he's becoming a man and he's forming his own family and he's got his own thing going on. And so then I watch AJ and she's stuck in between the two, right? Because you're
Taking
still
care of both plus yourself.
right.
And I think that that's the biggest thing is that I think that's what some of the sadness and some of the slump comes from is it's like, I just kind of need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself as well as everybody else.
Yeah. Well, AJ, go ahead.
My entire adult life, I've been a mom. And so now adjusting to, you know, he's getting ready to be married and not being needed as much
Well, and
it kills me.
and I'm not sure if she's watching tonight, but one of our Patreon sponsors, Debbie Burdett, brought this up last week about having your heart ripped out by your children. And I think that's part of it, right? Like your whole life, you are their provider and they need you. And the moment you don't feel like they need you, it's hard. I can still to this day remember one of the hardest days of my life was it was my daughter. So my wife and I separated. And so I go into a house and she stayed at the house. And I'm really diving into some personal shit here, but I'm going to agree with AJ on this one. So my daughter comes over, and every night to go to sleep, she has to have us lay with her to go to sleep,
Right?
right? And at the time, I was an outside sales rep, and I was driving all the time, and at times it almost felt like, and I hate to say this, it felt like a chore. Like I had stuff I needed to be
But
doing.
now you would take it back any day of the week.
Well, so, you know, there's nights where you love doing it. And the other thing was, and this is kind of sappy, but my ex-wife used to sing to my daughter to fall asleep. So I would sit there and play songs on YouTube because I couldn't sing that. I mean, like, Que
Oh,
Sera,
thank
Sera,
gosh.
and that
You would
stuff.
just start singing like
Right.
big balls to your child.
Yeah.
My gosh.
And so every single night when I would tell her it was bedtime, she'd say, "Can you come in and lay down with me for a little bit?" And I would go in there. And I remember the first night she told me, "No, I said, good night, Eliza." And she's like, "Good night." I'm like, "Do you need me to come in there?" She's like, "No, I'm good." "Do you want me to come in there?"
Can I come in there?
And so that's the hard part. Again, I think about being in your 40s is because you're going through the empty nest part of, like, especially as a single parent. You know, like I can relate to AJ on this one of there was a lot of times that if my kids weren't there, I spent Christmases alone. I spent Thanksgivings alone. You know, I spent my birthday alone a lot of times. It's hard. And now you're getting to a point where it's not even just half the holidays, it's all the holidays.
Well, it's like you prepare them, you want them to be, you know, part of society and successful. But even though you're preparing them, I don't know that as a parent you're prepared when
For them
it's
to
time
not
for them to
need
fly.
you. And I'm saying this in like air quotes.
Yes.
That they don't need you so much anymore.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Man, we needed to bring up some uplifting stuff. Should I do a couple more?
We'll do a couple more in a second. And, you know,
Okay.
I'm just going to, you know, it's funny because this is where alcohol, sometimes you're all just sad in the bar. And sometimes, like, this is when you need R. Kelly to come on with,
and piss in somebody's closet.
right, something to just change up the mood a little bit.
Just went
right?
off the rails.
I'm
Right?
sorry, you say R. Kelly. I just
Right.
say piss in
Right,
the
little
closet.
ignition remix is what I was thinking. But hey, whatever you're into.
Hot and fresh out of the kitchen.
But anyway, we're going to end up taking another pause for the cause anyway. But all right, let's do a couple more, and then we'll take a pause. We'll come back for the news, and we're going to wrap it up because this one's basically going to be about audio. This
Okay.
is audio is where we started. I love the video.
There haven't been a whole lot. We've got Josh Morrison listening on the old
Yeah.
Facebook, and
Josh
he's
is our
mentioned, but like nobody else is really
No,
talking. So
you know what? This is the summer.
that's right. It is the summer.
We struggle in that we always have, and
It's all of those mid-slump people taking their kids to ball practice and then worrying about
well,
their parents.
you know, in all honesty, that's where people should be anyway. Is
Absolutely.
summertime. It's anyway. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, here's one. Comedian Ron White. Y'all know Ron White, right?
Yes.
Tater salad. So he regularly smokes so much weed on his private jet that the pilots had to wear oxygen masks.
That's
His
impressive.
pilots had to wear oxygen masks because you know that if they were like intaking everything that he was smoking, they would not be able to land that damn plane.
That's a lot of weed.
That's a lot of weed.
I want to know how big the plane is.
I do too. It's a private jet, so I'm not real sure, but I'm just like,
It can't be
that's
that
how
big.
he can come up with some of those tater
Yeah.
salad type of jokes and
Yeah.
such. Man
That's-
alive.
Yeah, that's a lot of weed. All right.
All right. So, I mean, if we're going to keep, we'll just go down that whole weed thing for a minute, right?
You like the weed.
I've got 2 more fun facts about it. It was just like one of those, like, if you start Googling
Weed.
crazy or weird fun facts or
About weed.
funny fun facts. No, I wasn't even
Oh.
going about the weed, but it happened. Okay. So, ibuprofen,
Yes.
it can neutralize a cannabis high.
Well, that's
So if somebody smokes too much or
mean,
eats
I'm
too many
guessing that's
gummies
what people
or
would say.
whatever, I mean, we have a lot of surrounding areas. We got Michigan and Ohio. If you do too much, you eat too many Rice Krispie treats, whatever.
and Illinois, I've heard.
Is it Illinois too?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Ibuprofen can neutralize a cannabis high and potentially eliminate short-term memory loss associated with cannabis use.
That's interesting.
So it
Yeah.
can bring, like, if you think that you're like, oh shit, I'm too high. I'm way too fucking high. Take some ibuprofen.
There you go.
You can neutralize it,
Or just wait.
and you can also start remembering everything that you were supposed to remember.
or just wait 20 minutes.
Well, that's
I've heard.
I don't know.
All right, let's do one more. Then we're gonna take a break.
Okay, let's see. What shall we do? I mean, it is after 2 beers. We're gonna do this one.
All right.
Okay, beer cans used to be 40% thicker and way stronger. So this is why we see people crushing beer cans as a display of strength in like the older movies and shows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like when people are like crushing the beer can on their forehead or
So now it'd only be impressive if it was like can of baked beans.
exactly.
God, that would hurt like a son of a
Could
bitch.
you imagine like crushing a green bean can across your noggin?
No, no.
That's
no, I
how it
can't.
used to be with the beer cans.
It would probably involve marijuana at some point and alcohol.
Now we're coming full circle. This
Yeah.
is not about that.
Okay.
It's not about that. But
All
anyway.
right. All right, tell you what, let's go ahead and take our pause.
Okay.
We've been at this now for almost an hour, and we're going to take 5
Let's
minutes.
okay. I was gonna
And,
say, do we need to do a whole 5 or
Yeah, let's do a whole
a
5,
whole 5 minutes?
and then we'll be back with our news. We've got some pretty good ones. So, and then we'll wrap it up and call it a night.
I like it.
All right.
Stay tuned, folks.
I was,
There it is.
I was just. I was.
We're looking for the cue.
I was waiting for AJ to say something anyway. Yeah, all right. Welcome back to the After Two Beers podcast. Dutch Dalton, Kimmy Gibbler. We're going to jump into our news. This is the fun part. Thanks again for everyone that's been commenting on the show. We love it because it allows us to engage with you guys. But Josh Morrison, Josh Ponder, Kobe Litton, Adam Green, thank you so much for dropping a little note. We appreciate it. Thanks again to our Patreon sponsors that allow us to do this show almost free of charge. So we greatly appreciate that. And thanks again to our buddy Kevin Shook here at Circle E Studios. If you are looking to do anything, all you got to do is reach out to what?
It's actually Global Media Enterprise, not Circle E Studios.
I thought this. What's E Studios?
Well,
Not
that's a
Circle E.
T-shirt shop. But we
You
can,
called
Yeah.
it that last week
Yeah.
too.
we
No,
got
I'm
to.
sorry. I'm scared.
After
Circle E.
2 beers.
I hope Black Dog didn't hear that.
You should make up a new. Anyway, it doesn't.
I
matter.
still need to pick my shirt up at Black Dog, by the way.
Yes. And just another friendly reminder that we're going to be doing an event live on June 3rd at the 911 Tavern at 12 p.m. After 2 beers and Blood and Vampira, back to the 80s. Blood and Vampira, if you haven't looked them up, they're on TikTok. They've got hundreds of thousands of followers. They've been watched hundreds of millions of times. And you got to check them out. It is funny.
It is. It's very entertaining, and they know exactly what they're doing, and they know how to bring in the team. And I'm telling you, I think it's just going to be fun.
Yeah, we're going to have fun with it.
We will have so much fun. And it's back to the 80s, so I feel like everybody needs to dress
Yeah.
as if you're back in the 80s.
Apparently, Kevin's drunk, coming like a seaman. I don't
Yeah, no kidding. He's
I
he's
mean, I was
young.
born in the 80s, so.
know. There you go. All right. Here's our first story. Gibbler, are you ready for some news?
I love the news.
Yeah, I had to do that. It helps my editing process.
It does.
We kind of jumped around. Thanks for the viewers tonight. If you're listening to the podcast, and if you get a chance, we try to go live every Tuesday night around 8 o'clock. And for the most part, we stick to that. But sometimes
Occasional
Wednesdays.
Wednesdays.
Yeah, so give us a chance on the video. You may not be disappointed. Or you may be. I don't know. Anyway. All right, here's our first story.
Sorry. I hope we're not putting people to sleep at this point. I mean, it's getting late,
Yeah.
but
Our first story comes from Maryland. AJ, I'm going to need you to start a tabulation here. We're going to talk about this is one story, and we're going to figure out how many people get arrested in this one story from Maryland.
in one story,
Yes. All right, ready? 4 kids in Maryland were caught driving around in 2 different stolen cars last week. They were teenagers, and 2 adults were with them, and an 18-year-old and a 21-year-old. So there was 4
the
kids and an 18 and a 21, so a total of 6. It turns out they had just stolen stuff from a nearby store, these 6. The 2 adults got thrown in jail, and the 4 kids were charged as juveniles. So that's 6 arrests so far. You follow me?
Okay.
Okay. The kids had to get picked up at jail by a guardian, and when the guardian showed up, that car was also stolen.
now we're talking 7.
No. There were 3 women in it, and a guy was driving. Cops thought it might be hot because the back window was smashed out. How do you show up to a jail to pick people up with a smashed out window in a stolen car? After
That's like going to the jail drunk to pick up your drunk friend.
it gets better. After the 3 women got dropped off, cops tracked the car down and arrested 4 more people inside it.
Are you kidding me?
No, the driver and 3 other teenagers. Meanwhile, the 3 women who got dropped off at the jail also got arrested. So picture this again.
Okay.
Starting off.
I'm already
Here
lost.
we go. This is amazing to me. 4 kids and 2 adults are driving in 2 stolen cars.
Okay.
They both get arrested. All 6 go to jail.
They in jail. Those 6 are gone.
The 2 are in jail for sure. The 4 kids are getting charged as juvies, and they call a car to come pick them up.
Here's another car.
To come pick them up.
Okay, here's the other car.
That car has 3 women in it and a driver, a male driver. The 3 women get out to go get the 4 kids. The male drives off. The cops think there's something suspicious because the window's broken out. By the time they pull him over, he's already picked up 3 more people. And that's how many people got arrested out of this story. So by now you've lost count. It's a total of 13 people were arrested, 7 juveniles and 6 adults.
Holy shit.
They apparently all knew each other and were between 13 and 21
Well,
years
I'm
old.
not going to pick anybody up from the jail that I don't know.
Well, it's
My
not,
gosh.
Well, even the ones they picked up later. It's not clear what the Guardian situation was all about or where their parents were during all of this. Cops say all 3 of the stolen cars were Hyundais. It's apparently part of a new dumb social media thing going on where it makes it easy to steal them.
The Hyundais?
Yeah, apparently I saw a wreck the other day in front of a high school that this kid got just destroyed. Like they ran into the back of a bus and he was like hanging out the passenger window. It wasn't good. All right.
What does that have to do with the Hyundais?
They had stolen Hyundais. They were out in front of the school driving up and down in front of these Hyundais, like showing off.
I'm like, what the have to do with Hyundais?
Wow.
Okay. Go ahead.
The kid's name was Hyundai. I don't know.
Proceed.
All right. Here's our second story. How often do you replace your panties?
Every 6 months.
And what do you like? Do you write the date on them when you buy them?
No, I just go into the drawer and I go, you're gone. And then I buy all new. And they're in the drawer.
Really?
Yeah. And I think that
Can I ask him I'm going to ask a lot of personal questions.
you're fine.
Not because
I
I'm
used
a
to work
dirtball, but-
for Victoria's Secret.
So how many pair of panties do you have? What's a rotation?
More than what I should, because typically you should only need like 7 to 10 pair. Right?
Depending on how often you do laundry and
Right, but I normally
How
have
excited you
20
get?
pair of rotation, and I get
What-
rid of the 20, and then I buy 20 new.
20 pair.
20 pair.
What does a pair of panties cost?
It depends on whether you're getting them on sale, which I always do.
She
I have
said
a
depends.
coupon.
Depends.
I don't wear Depends yet. Come on. I'm
you
not in my
keep-
slump.
What are your
Give me another 10 years.
What are your trade-in dates? Do you have like every June, like time
So
change?
typically
or-
there's like different sales, and sometimes I actually replace them more than every 6 months. So typically there's like a Memorial Day sale, a 4th of July sale, Labor Day sale, Christmas sale.
Now-
So honestly, I probably replace them a little more quarterly.
So you keep 20 pair in rotation.
And then I get rid of them.
So every
They're gone,
12 months you're going through 40 pairs of panties.
at least.
Now, I'm just curious now from a guy, this is a guy thing. Do you have matching bras?
Typically, when you go with a black bra, you can't go wrong with many colors other than navy.
Oh,
And then you have to have like a navy bra or like,
so you don't buy 40 panties and 40 bras.
no. Typically, you have about 4 bras per week. I typically have 4 bras in rotation, oftentimes more.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends. Like if you're wearing a white shirt, you have to have a tan bra. And
I get-
like
yeah.
if you want to be fancy, then you wear a lacy
Oh, Kevin's
fancy
excited.
thing.
As soon as I brought up panties,
it's like
he got-
it's like a seamless black t-shirt bra, so that you can't like it's seamless. So even if you wear a t-shirt or like a loose fit shirt, you're not everything's seamless.
Okay.
So typically you have about 4 or 5 bras in your rotation.
Or 5 bras and 20 pairs of panties.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Kevin, what you got, buddy?
Well, back to the collars. Do you avoid the white panties for just in case? type of
White
situations?
panties have no meaning.
White panties.
White panties don't even go under white clothes.
No, I'm talking about in case like you shit yourself or something. Like,
Nobody ever wears white panties.
okay.
Nobody.
And is that why?
Only time that anybody wears white panties is on their wedding night.
I wear
That's
white
it.
panties.
You wear white panties?
You got white panties on?
I wear white panties.
No.
But not like grainy
But
panties. I don't do grainy panties.
But they're not color coded, is what you're saying. You like yellow in the front, brown in the back.
Oh. No, but like, no, typically.
Oh.
So, like, even like people a lot of times think that if you wear white under white, that it's good. But no, you need to wear like skin tone under white
Yes.
for it to be see through.
Huh.
So that's why I have zero white panties or bras.
Same.
And I think it was just something I learned while I was working at the old VS
Okay.
years ago.
I mean, AJ, this is how many pairs of panties do you have in rotation?
I would say like 12 or 13, but I guess I don't replace them like I should. I'm not like, I guess
Well-
I'm like a guy, man. I let them fall.
And out of those, how many are
How
edible?
many years into the relationship are we? I'm joking.
All right, well, let's jump
How
into
many are
this.
edible?
They're rotated often.
Oh, okay.
Oh, have you ever done the edible panties?
I have.
No, it's just like a fucking fruit roll up, man.
So you have or haven't?
I haven't. There's no reason.
It literally is.
I have.
Fruit
just
roll-ups
to-
are
just-
delicious.
Just to see if it was like a fruit roll up. And
It wasn't
it's
as
worse.
delicious.
It's worse.
It
so
was
it doesn't,
not as delicious.
Right, it wasn't. And it's really filmy on your teeth. And then you're at the dentist the next week trying to explain it.
What are you talking about?
Edible underwear.
Maybe it's what you were putting them on.
Oh.
I wasn't flossing my teeth.
No, I'm not talking about that. Anyway.
Okay, proceed.
The proceed about how often you should change your panties. Every few months, a video will go viral on TikTok or another site where someone says you have to throw away your underwear every 6 months or 9 months or a year because it's building up bacteria, even if you wash it.
Yes.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
But according to several doctors, that's not true.
What?
You don't have to replace your underwear every 6 months or every year. You can keep wearing them forever, at least until it disintegrates.
No.
Yes, Dr. Christine Greaves, an OBGYN in Orlando, says, quote, if you're washing your underwear in warmer or hot water, you're killing all of the bacteria off of them. As long as your underwear is clean, you should be okay. So there you go.
I clean mine in the hottest cycle.
So then your panties are fine.
I don't feel that way. They're gone. They go. They go. They're in the rosy roller.
You can't donate them?
Nobody wants. No, that's just weird. That's one of the weirdest things ever. Is going to Goodwill and seeing like the panty bra section. I'm like, no.
Start an OnlyFans and sell it on there.
Would you wear used boxers?
No. What? No.
Then why would you even assume that I would like
it was-
donate my drawers?
It was. I don't know if you've picked up on it. I like to throw out jokes occasionally.
I'm just saying, would
I
you
didn't
wear
think,
used underwear?
No, it's gross. No.
What if they were like washed in like Clorox and such?
You know what? It's funny. We talk about this like it's so weird, but during World War II and things, they were going through and recycling all that shit. So somebody didn't make it. You might have been wearing their drawers. I'm dead serious. Like, I don't know. We're so fucking spoiled. We don't
We
even
are
know.
spoiled.
All
We're
right.
so spoiled.
Here's our last story of the longest podcast ever.
Thank you for sticking with us, those that are
Yes.
listening. I appreciate it.
Yes. A middle-aged woman has keyed more than 400 vehicles one by one at 2 Canadian dealerships over the course of 4 months, resulting in $500,000 in damages. Video surveillance released by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police shows the woman wearing glasses, gloves. It says gloves.
You say Royal Mounted. Are they like horse riding?
Well, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you've seen Mounties, right?
Yes, that's how I'm sitting there going, oh, we're just
Well, I'm
riding
sure
our horses through the
I'm sure some of them have
parking
cars.
lot at the car dealership. So was she an ex-wife of the car dealership owner?
I don't even know. We haven't read that far yet.
Okay,
You're like that person that it's
I am. I
horrible to
wanna-
watch a movie with.
I am. I want to fix the story before it. I want to find out.
Yeah, the woman was wearing glasses, gloves, a beanie, and a surgical mask while meandering through a dealership and scratching the exterior of each car with a tool. The mounted police released 1 minute and 23 seconds of a YouTube video. It starts on April 7th, 2023 at 9:20 p.m. It shows the unidentified woman keying at least 4 Ram pickup trucks. She hates trucks, apparently.
Okay.
At one point, she even appears to look up at the security camera before continuing on damaging rampage. She's like, "What's up, bitches?"
What up, yo?
And a video then cuts to another clip from around 8:24 p.m. the same night where the woman appears to be in a different coat that's a long black and hooded resembling a cloak. She's a witch.
She's cloaking up.
Yeah, What?
Nothing. It's like suiting up. Never
okay.
mind.
All right.
Go-
She was
proceed.
recorded in what appears to be in front of the dealership, messing with the front doors before keying the blue pickup truck parked out front. This lady clearly hates trucks. The dealerships are located just under 1 mile from each other. Police received 3 separate reports of keying. It is clear in the videos, and the suspect.
The what?
Yeah, exactly. The suspects was deliberately scratching the vehicles one by one. This is clearly after 2 beers. I think we're 8 in at this point. This is a long show.
Drink responsibly.
Drive home responsible. We won't drive.
No.
She added the investigation is ongoing, and the police have yet to identify the woman in the surveillance video. So she's on the loose.
They have not identified her.
No, she's just out cutting cars.
And it's the same dealership, but 2 locations. Like, I feel
3
like there
locations.
is
There was ultimately 3 locations.
yeah, I feel like there is something that's happened.
Yeah, she just hates cars. Anyway, all right, Gibbler. I want to make sure we wrap this up quickly because we've been. This is like our Dances with Wolves. It's gonna have to come out and suck.
It's like Titanic.
Yeah,
2 times.
you're
And
going-
it's still going to end up in an iceberg.
Normally I would cut this, but this would take me hours to cut, and we're not going to do it. So, anyway, thanks again to Kevin Shook. Thanks again to AJ for helping us out, making sure that we stay on task. It's a challenge some nights more than others. Tonight was definitely one of those nights. Also, make sure you hang out with us on June 3rd at the 9/11 Tavern at 12 noon here in Richmond, Indiana. It's a cool bar.
It is a cool bar.
You know,
Yeah.
plus we're gonna be there, and Blood and Vampire will be there, and that right there alone is worth the price of admission, and it's free. So there you go. Can't beat it. Thanks again to our Patreon sponsors. Without you, we wouldn't be able to continue to do the show. And then lastly, and most importantly, I'll say it at the end of every show and every radio broadcast I do. It's the biggest thing you can do for me. We all struggle in life. Mother's Day is a time to celebrate, but it's not the easiest of days for everybody. And, lots of things are coming up, Father's Day and things. And so people are going to be struggling that maybe you don't know that are struggling.
Memorial Day.
There you go. Near and dear to a lot of people's hearts. So if you see someone that you think is struggling, they probably are. Just reach out to them, ask them how they're doing. Invite them over. Just give them a call. Stop by their house. Tell them you love them. Tell them you appreciate them. Any of those kinds of things. You'd be surprised how something so small might mean the absolute world to someone. All right. Without further ado, Gibbler, I think we will talk to them all next time.
After 2 beers.